Look, Papa Bush was crying, and which of course leads me to the question: are you crying?
Here's what I don't understand about this, and we're going to bring you the story of George H.W. Bush, the first George Bush, 41. He was speaking to the Florida legislature. What I'm getting at is, if your father got up in front of a group of people and started to praise you and how proud he is of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
In some context, in front of your friends at your wedding day, that's a good one. Maybe at something, right? I can imagine he might cry, right? And I think my dad might as well. My dad cried at my wedding. My dad doesn't cry. It was touching, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a speech in front of the Florida legislature about, wasn't it about economic development or something? I mean, it was an odd speech to cry at.
But maybe he's so overwhelmed with how poorly his son is doing that it brought him to tears finally. Sometimes it just, at one point, you break.
And he was talking about an election that Jeb lost 2 elections ago. So he's come back and won twice since then. And it brought him to tears because of the steely character that Jeb Bush has.
Well, yeah, he was talking about how Jeb had lost, and then he came back and won again. But, of course, let's do it. We're going to have a little bit of pop psychology here and say, talking about his son coming back from hard times. He's got another son that is, undergoing some hard times now. So that's my little bit of pop psychology. But here, we're going to play it for you.
You think he might have been secretly crying about George?
Of course!
Yeah.
So we're going to play it for you here now, and...
The picture there is of George breaking down and Jeb coming and putting his arm around him.
But we're gonna,
serious tears.
We're going to show you the video, and of course on the radio you're going to be able to hear him crying, which is fun. All right, here we go.
True measure of a man is I handle victory and also defeat. So in '94, Floridians chose to rehire the governor. They took note of his defeated opponent, who showed not merely with words but by his actions what decency.
I can't bear it.
I don't want to hear that again.
It's painful. And he's talking about they rehired the governor, Lawton Chiles, who was elected in 1994, defeating Jeb Bush in a bizarre twist of fate that was undoubtedly crushing for the United States of America, Election Day, 1994.
I want to make fun of him, but of course I'm not going to. Well, I am going to, but it's...
We're already in the middle of doing that.
Oh, are we?
Not really. It wasn't.
Oh, there he is again.
I think by throwing up, I mean, obviously we're not the only ones to do it, but I think by throwing up a video of a grown man crying is enough to make fun of him.
Well, I mean, make fun of him. He's speaking before the legislature. It's all over television. I mean, that seems to me, he cried in public. You're going to get it on TV. The question is, do we sort of treat him with the respect that he does as the 41st president, a guy who did a good job on foreign policy, who may be our best bet to sort of get us out of the quagmire in Iraq? Or do we play little annoying sound effects of children crying? Obviously, we choose the former because this is a serious show. We're not going to, go to some sort of hackneyed, sort of standby, automatic little sound effect that I think everyone would acknowledge is inappropriate, pedestrian, childish, sophomoric, I think some would say.
All right. Now, having gotten that out of the way, I'm going to do something that might annoy some Air America listeners even more. I love the guy. I do. I mean, this is why I love Poppy, right? He cares about his sons. I mean, I'm kidding in my kidding. I don't really think we should make fun of President Bush for crying. He loves his kids. He wants them to do well. He thinks Jeb did a good job in coming back, and he did, politically speaking. And he knows his other son's in trouble, and he knows he's a doofus, and he has to protect him because he's a good dad, and that's what good dads do. And he was a smart guy. He was a centrist. He had great foreign policy, George H.W. Bush. Hate mail at theyoungturks.com. And now, he's much older, and he breaks down a little bit. I don't see that as a sign of weakness. I see a sign of he's a good dad.
You know, and if we want to do the pop psych thing, and maybe I missed this, maybe this is exactly what you were saying, and it just went over my head, that he actually is proud of Jeb, and so it's difficult because he's crying at the son who he's proud of and wants to succeed, and he's humiliated by the other son.